Good afternoon, listeners.
All right, so welcome back to Social Studies. Today what we're going to do, yesterday you guys remember that we read this book, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And this book is about what?
The three branches of government.
Government.
The government,
Yeah.
3 branches of government. What are those 3 branches of government? Tell me more.
Executive.
Executive,
Judicial.
And
Legislative.
legislative.
legislative, very good. Executive, judicial, and legislative, good. Today what we're going to do, we've already read the book. We're going to continue to kind of look in the book though, and for some of the vocabulary words that we're going to use for an activity that we'll, for the project that we're going to do later on. So let's start out with our I can statement, and then I'll show you guys the activity that we're going to be doing here. So repeat after me. I can identify the 3 branches of government. Very good. All right. So here's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to use, on your table you should have these little pieces of paper. They should be spread out, and you have 3 vocabulary boxes, 3 papers with vocabulary boxes on them. On one side here you'll see key terms. In the middle you'll see a definition box, which is where you will find the larger pieces of paper. And then here will be your visuals. This is the visuals. I've already given you the visuals. What I want you to do is to be able to take the short piece of paper, which is your vocabulary word, and match it to the definition. If you would, look up here and I'll show you what I kind of want you to do. Let's do the first one here together. So what do you see in this first picture here? Alexandra?
People voting.
People voting. Okay. So people are exercising their right to vote. Do you see any words here that would possibly be about voting or people having, yes?
Power to the people.
Okay, power to the people. Right. Now we have there's a specific vocabulary word that goes with that. Power to the people. And then what do we call that vocabulary term? That's one of these words. It's one of our short pieces of paper. There's popular sovereignty, constitution, and preamble. Which would that be? Nicholas, what do you think? Preamble? That's a good guess. Preamble means beginning. Like if you know the root word.
I think it's popular sovereignty, because the popular is like more people in like the popularity and the population.
Okay, so population, like popular.
Yeah, and that's the
people. And sovereignty, that's right. That's exactly right.
Sovereignty is like the rights that you have.
That's right. Sovereignty are the rights that you have. It's the power that you have. So you have popular sovereignty, which is power to the people. And then, so here we go. We have our key term, we have our definition, and our illustration. All 3 of these match up. Now, you have a lot more of these down here. So the first one is done for you. What I would like you to do is to, as quickly as you can, together as a group, before we write them down in our notes, I want you to try to organize and show me what you can do right now, just based on on the reading that we've done. If you need the book, if you feel pretty confident about it, you don't need to use the book.
Okay.
But if you want to, you can use the book to help you with that. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right.
Do we can use this one, right?
You can use it if you need to. If you have some questions about it, but look at each word and see if you can figure out kind of what the picture what picture it would go to, or what definition it would go to. Okay. Cool. All right. On your mark. Get set. Go.
Oh.
So the judicial branch, yesterday we talked about it. It's what does the judicial do? Or what branch of government, or what do they do in the government? They're different than the president, and they're different than Congress. Okay, so the executive branch makes the laws. Okay, so we got that. Very good. That's the judicial. And then
Is it part of government that enforces the laws?
That enforces the laws?
That is
No,
the-
this
that
one
is-
enforces the law,
I think it's this one, isn't
the legislator.
it?
And this one,
Yeah.
that's a constitution and constitution.
Okay, so let's see what you've got here. So, we have legislative branch. Okay, this one is actually wrong. The legislative branch does not keep the laws, and the executive branch does not make the
Makes the
laws.
This one.
So the legislative make the law.
Yes, correct. That's right. So that's the only ones it looks like. Yeah, that's right. So good. So now you have the legislative branch. That's the Capitol building where you see in that picture. That's where all of the representatives come to, and they make laws. The executive branch, that's the president. The president's job, he's like the police of the country. Once the laws are made in the legislative branch, his job is to make sure that people follow the laws.
Does the president have to be in the legislative branch too?
He works with them. They work together because the president has to know what laws the people need to keep. So yeah, they definitely work together a lot for sure. Then we have popular sovereignty. That's the one we just talked about here. That's where people have the power.
And then we got the constitution.
The Constitution, and that's the one that holds everything together.
That's
All three branches come from the Constitution.
the paper that they wrote.
Now, in your language arts classes, you guys have been learning about prefixes and suffixes, right?
Yeah,
And you've learned about
pre,
pre. What does pre mean?
Before.
is the before.
It's before. So it's the part of the Constitution that comes before everything else, okay? So the preamble is the beginning of the Constitution. It starts out with these three powerful words. We, the people. That's it. And then we have the judicial branch. And the judicial branch is a part of government. Their job is to say, okay, the legislative branch makes laws. The executive branch, their job is to keep the laws. Once it's made, it doesn't need to be made anymore. The executive branch polices it
And the judicial prove if it's like good or bad.
with the Constitution.
Yeah,
Yes.
because sometimes a president can be like, okay, like Donald Trump.
Okay.
He want to be like, I want to build this wall.
Okay.
But he cannot do that because on the Constitution it says we have to be like friendly with everybody.
Okay.
And we have to have rights. Like everybody wouldn't have to be racist or anything. So
Exactly.
the judicial branch is gonna say that law.
They could say if Donald Trump passes passes an executive order or so, it does something there
That
with our
can
country
change.
that goes against the Constitution,
Yeah.
the Supreme Court,
Can say that's unconstitutional.
and that's their job. Their job is to say that this is okay, or no, this is not.
That one is the one that have checks and balances.
Mm-hmm. Checks and balances. That's right.
What were
That's
they?
yeah. We read about that yesterday. That's the very top thing that we talked about yesterday.
So
In the
the
book.
judicial branch is the one who say yes or no to the rule.
Correct.
It's the last word, I guess.
Yeah, they're the ones who say yes or no to it, or constitutional, or here's another one. There's constitutional means it's good.
It's part of the Constitution.
It goes good with the Constitution. Unconstitutional. If we add that prefix un, okay, so there's two of those prefixes there. If you had pre, amble, and then we have
Constitution.
unconstitutional. So those are unconstitutional. If you see un, it's bad.
It's
Okay.
no.
Pre, it's against. Okay. Means against. It's not going for.
Or like no.
Or no, right? And not. So against or not, and then pre means first or before. Yeah. Good. Good job, guys. Okay, so now what we're going to do, since you guys are pretty good with this, what we're going to do is take a little bit of time, and we are going to first of all, we're going to write these down while they're perfect and in place. Then, after we do that, we'll race each other and see who here can assemble these words the fastest, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and get out a pencil, and we will begin that work next.